Any questions that I can't answer? Yes, Mike.
Quick question on the Albatross D5s that they flew. Did the wings stay green and mauve, or did they paint the wings red as well? I don't think I heard.
Well, there aren't too many photos of those. Hans Mueller's combat report simply states that it had a red nose and white fuselage. However, some of the photos seem to indicate that at least the top of the top wing was painted red, with a big white field for the Albatross.
Did they ever have any Albatross D5s with the 5-color lozenge on them?
Yes. And that shows up in the photos. What are you going to correct me on, John?
No, not correct, but actually reinforce on the invaluable nature of Paul Strehle's memories. For my next book, I intend to reconstruct Hardeep Singh Malik's camel, and it's largely thanks to Strehle, who he said for the rest of his life would remember the number 5 on that camel that gave him such trouble that day.
Great story. Yes?
Greg, what's the whereabouts of the, you know where the whereabouts of the Newport rudder?
I presume it's still in the hands of the Strehle.
Okay.
I haven't heard anything otherwise. If you looked at that photo closely, you saw that some of the numerals had red borders on them, which confirmed what people thought from black and white photos. Pretty unique artifact. Anyone else? Yes?
Is your book for sale here?
Well, I have several copies. We're going to be giving, yeah, I can probably give you one.
I have money.
We're going to be giving.
We are a charitable organization. Thank you for the thought.
We have several books that will be awarded as prizes in the modeling contest, and I'll be happy to autograph those. Yes.
What did Berthold and a group do in the Great Offensive, and from that, when they transferred to being another Jasta?
Mm-hmm.
What was their history like from that point forward?
Well, you can read my other book on JG.
Again, I came with cash.
Can
you sum up?
Continue in JG2, and they did pretty well. They continued to fly their Albatross and Faults for a while, but then they finally switched over to Fokker D7s, and their scoring rate just shot off like a rocket through the summer. And when they got BMW D7s, you know, and Velchin scored most of his 35 victories in that summer. You know. Yes.
Did many of them ever serve on the Eastern Front?
There weren't a lot of fighter pilots on the Eastern Front at any time. They really weren't necessary. I'm trying to think. Plants? Can you think of any?
Not so many.
I don't think so. Like I said, Von Bülow served in Palestine, which is pretty unique. I can't, off the top of my head, think of any that were on the Eastern Front. Sorry. Yes? Okay, here's one.
Well, two things. In answer to the Berthold effect beyond Jasta 18, he not only brought his entire personnel into Jasta 15, but also brought his entire marking philosophy, which he proceeded to impose on all of Jagdgeschwader 2 with the sleeve and cuff concept of Prussian blue fuselages and different colored noses for each Staffel based on the original Jasta 18 pattern. And the other thing is about Jasta 18 is it had the distinction of being the first Fokker D7 unit to enter the Saint-Mihiel sector, which up till then had been a quiet sector, but it was both a reflection of the growing proficiency and threat of the Americans as well as independent force that compelled the Germans to send some of their latest planes to an otherwise neglected sector.
Any other questions? Yeah.
You've still got 20 minutes. You can regale us with a few more stories.
He doesn't have quite that long. We do have to make a transition, but
Yeah.
feel free to take a few more.
How many of you have heard of Harold Hartney? Commander of the 1st Pursuit Group, commander of 27th Squadron. I actually had him in the presentation and then I cut him out because JR said 35 minutes. Before he was ever in the American Air Force, John can tell you this story better than I can, but he was flying an FE-2 with number 20 squadron, and a Canadian observer named Jordan. And Paul Strela got his first victory in a combat against Harold Hartney and another FE-2D of 20 squadron. They were both shot down behind the British lines. Hartney and his observer were both badly injured in the crash of their aircraft. And how many of you read Hartney's book, Up and At It? There's a whole chapter devoted to that, in which the chapter is entitled, I Meet Mr. Richthofen, finally. But yeah, everybody did. He wrote that book in 1940, and he had read Floyd Gibbons' book, and he found out, oh, Richthofen shot down 2 planes on Valentine's Day, the 14th of February, 1917. Must have been me. And so he writes the whole story, that he was shot down by Richthofen, but it was Paul Strela and Unteroffizier Fleming. We think Fleming got Strela as observer. So when you read that chapter, take it with a grain of salt. Yes, Seth?
Then I would just add, if I read that so many years ago, I hope I have the right account, but there was just one line in Hartley's account where he talked about his controls. He lost a little bit of his control response at a critical moment, and his line was, and if that hadn't happened, I would have shot the Red Baron dead then and there.
Yeah.
That effect.
They also got credit for shooting down 3 Albatross P-3s, which didn't happen. But that's Thank you very much. Anybody?